Hello, welcome Bits and Bobs, coming at you on this Tuesday. Happy to say we're joined in studio for the first time since the 8th of July, believe it or not, the combination of Mullen and Doherty. Ronan, hello.
Hi, Joe.
And Conan, hello to you.
It's not right, is it?
It's not right.
Been too long.
It's not right. Indosport podcast at independent.ie. New listener was in touch with me the other day. I just found the pod, I'm enjoying it. Come here, what is Bits and Bobs? That was a deep question, long answer. I guess it's just any other business, really. Oasis. Ronan, you were there.
I was.
You were there. We get it. You were there.
I've never seen such retrospective FOMO than what you've been experiencing. The thing, you never mentioned to me once last week, but it was an avalanche of emotion from to my left at the desk yesterday. You were just watching clips.
It's hit me really hard.
You said it's the first album you really related to.
Yeah.
And why did you not?
I don't know why I feel I didn't have more of a right to go or push harder to go. I mean, I got in the queue. I was there with the other 400,000 people. Yeah, I got the What's the Story Morning Glory. Now, definitely maybe it was before my time because I was 10 when What's the Story Morning Glory came out. But in that kind of lovely era, I had a Walkman and I listened to it every night in bed, rewound it, maybe started it again the odd time for, I'd say, 2-3 years. Like it's in my DNA. So I didn't think that much about it. I don't generally get on these, whatever the thing is, you have to go and see.
Yeah.
And it was just on Saturday, as my phone was bombarded, obviously, with social media clips, and it really looked extraordinary.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I was like, why didn't I try harder to go to this?
Yeah. But even like since they began in Cardiff, the countdown has been on. Like the countdown preceded that, but like the whole year has been leading up to this for a lot of people. So had you not been paying attention to those? Okay. So this was really your first...
I take issue to this question though, because like, what can you do? Like, are you not supposed to try and buy tickets? There's apparently 700,000 people in the queue to get tickets. They all go. Tickets are gone. What is this subculture that you're like, then you have to try and get tickets off people who have tickets? This is disgusting.
You would understand it as trying to get an All-Ireland final ticket.
Yeah.
There's no given route to get it. You just ask anyone who you think might be able to help.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, anytime I bump into anybody or have a passing conversation with someone I vaguely know, like, one of the topics was, in the last couple of months, you going to Oasis? Did you get tickets for Oasis? Yeah. So, because you hadn't mentioned it to me, I kind of thought it was like, whatever. It's going to come and go, but now I feel like...
I very much in my life focus on task at hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in the moment.
You've got priorities. You have got priorities.
But no, it really has hit me subsequent to it as I've watched so many videos of it. It just looked like it was this incredible communal experience drenched in like the power to feel 30 years younger.
Yeah.
Oof,
More than a concert, they're telling me.
So I think it might have been, and even the L Triangle playing before.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
I was like, these guys.
It was so
I was already
good.
crying.
In Croke Park.
Listening to everyone sing, it was just beautiful, It was a very Irish, Irish kind of thing.
It took over the city as well in a nice way.
And my dad's from Charlestown.
Is he?
Yeah, so even when he came out and,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I just have always had this thing with them, you know what I
Joe,
mean?
you should have been there.
I know that now.
Joe.
I just really, I've a lot of, it's the most lingering sense of FOMO I've ever had. This wasn't a Saturday night thing. This was a Monday into this morning.
So it was a reeling in the ears moment. Yeah. But
2 thumbs up for you.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
On the Charlestown point, like Liam literally said, anyone here from Charlestown? And like 10,000 people went, wait. He's like, come on, there's like 5 people from Charlestown.
I could
can't be from there.
I could have legitimately cheered.
You could have.
I could have spent a lot of time there.
But so I'm a like big Oasis fan. My first ever foray into radio, if you can call it that. I did a course with Dundalk FM and you had to work on a little project. My friend and I, David McGuinness, we did a Definitely Maybe doc because it was the anniversary of that album. And so it's kind of a nice little full circle moment. But then I was like...
So sorry, is admitting the fact they went to the concert together then?
What do you mean?
You
that's what I meant. Sorry, I thought that was clear.
That's the key part,
Yeah, I thought that.
It wasn't just I did a radio documentary.
No, I thought that came across. Maybe not. I'll have to listen back.
You and your
but
documentary.
he managed to find me a ticket like late on.
Find one lying around.
Yeah, he actually. Do you want to get into the story?
No,
I don't know if I don't know how to divulge his personal.
No, we got to keep moving.
But I think the best video I've seen, and there've been so many, was that one I showed you of the two lads who were dancing like side of stage during
I
Slide
saw
Away.
it, yeah.
And it was just one of the most beautiful examples of male friendship I've ever seen. Like, they were just at one with each other. It was just class.
Whilst also avoiding eye contact and true intimacy. It's in the sweet spot for male friendship, you know.
Yeah, there was no eye contact.
Yeah.
Lots of like embracing though.
I saw. Initially I thought it was Croke Park, but it might have been Murrayfield, where somebody during "Don't Look Back in Anger" spread his father's ashes.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my goodness, it's a heavy moment.
Wow.
So all of these things for people. See, it is 30 years.
Yeah. But then, like, so I got my ticket sort of late doors, if that is even an expression. And I'd kind of made my peace, much like you, Joe. I was in the queue. I'm a worthy attendee, but I figured like there's hundreds of thousands of Oasis fans. Like, I have no divine right to go to this. But then when I went and saw some of the clientele at this concert, I was like, it's just damn right I was at that concert.
Well,
There was a lot of event.
junkies.
Yeah.
I was noticing he won't mind me saying it because he flew in from New York. He acknowledged himself. I am Mr. FOMO. So he went and he said, I'm not even that. I only know 4 songs.
Oh.
How do you know only 4 songs at a certain point in life?
That's incredible.
They're just, like, how have you avoided the others? But he went along just because it was just
Have to be there.
cultural moment, zeitgeist to be a part of.
Don't like that because I thought the beauty of that concert was that everybody knew every word of every song.
No, that's never the case.
It's the FOMO.
It was quite sad, the people outside, the diehards singing. Very poignant. Anyway, it does look, I've yet to meet anyone who has said, no, it was fine. Everyone said, no, it was spiritual.
It was, celestial.
Yeah.
So, it was great.
Email in, hi again, Joe and Co. Ronnie O'Sullivan got 2 147s in the same match the other day. That is all. Best wishes, Chris. He sure did. 49 years young at the Saudi Arabian Masters. His last 147 in competition was the English Open in 2018. That was the surprising part. So, Ronnie, 2 147s in one match. Rashidat Adeleke. This has just turned into an Anis Horribilis for Rashidat. 2025 season is now over. The World Championships are on in Tokyo very soon. She released a post on Instagram to say basically her season is over owing to, quote, lingering injuries and continuous setbacks. So she had qualified in the 200 and 400 metres, but will not take part at all now. And it's just been a tricky season for her. 23 was amazing. 24 was amazing. She's off 4th place finishes the Olympics, the last World Championships in Budapest 2 years ago. But this year she's only raced 5-6 times, whereas in previous years on that kind of collegiate circuit, she might have raced 40-50 times. So she's actually never got going this entire year and has clearly decided just to bin it off. She's in no shape to go to a World Championships. So we'll see how she comes back in 2026. Lingering injuries, continuous setbacks, suitably vague. Don't know how serious or otherwise it is, but at 22, maybe there was always going to be a few bumps in the road. She's having to push her body to get from 4th to medal, and things go awry. David Moyes last night. I'm obviously going to say it's not a penalty. I believe it's not a penalty. Unless you cut the boy's hand off, I don't know where he goes, he said of James Tarkowski's handball. It was more of he tucked his arm and leaned his shoulder. Penalty was given, 1-0 win for Leeds. By all accounts, I didn't see it. I know you did, Ro. Did you watch it?
Yeah. Jack Grealish is back, of course.
Oh, well, indeed. By all accounts, Leeds deserved to win anyway, so I don't think, football karma is too upset. Jack Grealish, how did he do?
Did well.
He did, it was kind of, when he came on the pitch, like everything about it.
Why are you laughing at?
Because he immediately took a different stance, I think.
No, I agree. He did, but it just felt all wrong. Like, he's just so above this level.
Yeah. Oh, so above it.
Yeah.
Was he
like Everton and Leeds are huge clubs. I mean, above the quality of the game that I was watching. Okay. He came on and he just looked didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't come on until 20 minutes ago, but he immediately fell into Villa Grealish, where it was like, right, I've got the ball, I'll take men on for you, and unfortunately I'll have to pass it off to a worse player then, who won't do anything with it.
But he was back. He wasn't pepping it about. He was running with the ball.
He won a few free kicks, which is going to be invaluable in a David Moyes team. I think he drew 3 fouls in the 12 minutes he was on in dangerous crossable free kick positions, and Everton will make hay from that in the long run. I was kind of when he signed for Everton, and he's only 29. Like, but I was kind of in my head making the parallel with when, and it was a different juncture, I think, when Gazza went to Everton. But I didn't.
Very different.
I didn't realize how quite on the nose or tragic the parallels were. Wearing the same number.
But that's a deliberate choice.
Wearing the same number.
It's
Yeah,
it's a homage to Gazza.
yeah, but why? Gazza was not good at Everton.
Well, he
did not go well.
Yeah, but he's
And he made his debut against Leeds.
okay.
Yeah.
But Gazza was in a very different stage. I remember that well.
But career-wise, I don't mean personal life. I mean,
No, I mean like Gazza was very overweight for a footballer, could barely run.
Yeah,
it was
no-
it was really the
Yeah, but relative to 2025, like no player is going to be overweight and playing Premier League football. But Grealish is about as low an ebb from former glories as you could potentially be.
I think
Would you not agree with that?
well, I just think with Gazza when he went to Everton,
What age was he?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Early 30s?
We can check it. But I just couldn't emphasize enough. There was no sense of Gazza's going to catch fire again here or rediscover himself here and have 4, 5, 6 more great years. It was Gazza, God, Everton. This is a chance for Grealish to have a great third act, second act,
Yeah.
whichever you want to pick.
But what does it say about the stage he's in that it just abruptly went to Everton? And, Villa, Everton, out of respect there, some of the oldest clubs, the most played fixture in the Premier League, or in the First Division. But the fact that West Ham and Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, working their way down the tables, none of those took a sniff at him. Spurs.
I'd say now wages were pricey because I think
Yeah.
Everton are paying the bulk of his 300 grand a week.
But people just thought he's not worth the wages. Is that it?
No, I mean I don't know what the financial situation there is.
Like Villa, apparently going back in after Asensio, they looked at Grealish and thought, nah, we don't need that story.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I mean, I don't think Villa are in a position to turn their nose up at Jack Grealish. I think this is
Yeah.
going to go really well for Grealish.
There's a great potential for it to go well. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing him at the new stadium, and he could light up. Like, he could be the spark, that kind of... He can put his... It's basically a blank canvas there now.
Gazza was 33. And
That sounds about right.
that's the equivalent of 36 in 2025.
Yeah.
He was an old 33.
I didn't realise he
Yeah.
picked the same number on purpose.
Yeah.
Don't lean into it, Jack.
Wayne,
he
Wayne,
leaned
Wayne
in-
Rooney's
no.
number as well.
No, he leaned into it. Gazza, another like starlet of English football, expressive,
Why not go for like Stephen Pienaar or something? Someone who went there, revitalised himself.
Oh, I have not thought of Pienaar in such a long time. Wasn't it Pienaar and Leighton Baines were like the dream?
Oh, fantasy.
But then he went to Spurs and then back to Everton. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener.
It's true.
Ian Osman.
Luke briefly emailed in to loving the pod. Great live show last week. Really enjoyable. Can I just ask who at Manchester United hurt Damien Delaney? More than enough positives to build on from this performance, he said. Yeah, Damien very not budging. He's still not getting carried away on improved Manchester United performance. That is waiting for you in your feed. I think we all sort of were, weren't we? That was the gist. We were quietly impressed with United. I was.
Well, it was the context. Like Arsenal are looking at trying to compete for a league, so
Yeah.
we were looking at them through that prism. Is this good enough to keep this type of performance on? United are looking to improve on last year. Was this better than last year? Yes, it was.
But, sorry, Neville and Carragher were doing their predictions yesterday and having one of those high-pitched arguments that only they can have, where one of them makes a point and they just keep going octave upon octave. And then Carragher's like, it was one game,
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to get that out of my brain that
It's sure.
he's probably right. He's probably right.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The highlight of last night was, of course, coming back from ads. You just love this on TV. You just love when you get a glimpse of reality. And they come back from ads early, and Neville doesn't know his microphone's up. And on the big screen that they're standing at is just a shot of all the Leeds fans. You just hear Neville saying, "That is the one group of supporters I wouldn't go anywhere near." Oh, and Dave Jones is like grabbing him. And then, in fairness to Neville, he just says, "I'll own it. That is the one group of supporters I wouldn't go anywhere near." But it was less playful the first time he said it.
I think he would say that. Yeah, I think he'd openly say that.
Not
Then Dave Jones, like ever trying to keep the thing afloat, was like, I'd say they'd say the same thing about you, Gary.
Yeah, it's all even, Gary.
Come on.
Not since the inexactitude of Eamon Dunphy
Yeah.
not realising he was on air for several minutes. Or at least a minute, sorry. I'm exaggerating several minutes, but for a good minute. Diddy a man was on his phone.
Yeah, he's
Not
covered.
that will never be topped.
Wayne Mardle, of course. He did a full interview before realising he was.
That's good.
But the Dunphy thing, because he's talking, then Bill cuts him off, asks him a question, and Dunphy keeps talking like they're off air. I was just saying.
Well, you see, because so they're chatting. Eamon's chatting to Diddy, who's on his phone, And then Bill,
Should be a telltale sign.
I know, Bill knows we're back and says, Eamon, Neymar this penalty. And I think Dunphy's like, oh, you fucking bottle. He'll bottle it. And Bill does this, you know. We're on. We're not, are we? But how good is Bill O'Hurley? Apologies for that inexactitude.
Oh, brilliant.
Like, can you genuflect down before that?
Yeah, that's great.
It's so perfect. Anyway, US Open mixed doubles. Stay with me just a second. This is an interesting case, I think, of yet another long-form sport attempting to bend in accordance with 21st century shrinking attention spans. So there's kind of outrage in a section of tennis here, but it's a section that nobody cares that much about. So it's just happening. So basically, there are people who are mixed doubles specialists, teams who've played together for years, people who practice the art of doubles play for years. They have now just been turfed out of the US Open in favour of a sexy new format. And I kid you not, there was a commentator, he's in Sky Sports News, been interviewed, and he was like, think of all the flirting and all the celebrations. Social media is going to love it. This is kind of where we are these days. So basically, for US Open mixed doubles, used to be across the full 2 weeks, 64 teams. That has now been cut to a 2-day tournament, 32 teams. The most high-profile pairing, Alcaraz, Emma Raducanu, and instead of the 200 grand winning check that last year's winners got, it's $1 million, straight up to $1 million. So it's on across this first week of the US Open, and it's even more kind of boom, 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 because through until semi-finals, best of 3 sets, first to 4. That 4 games wins you a set, and there's no advantage point. So it goes juice, next point wins, which is a paddle thing, by the way. But anyway, listen, I'm going to keep us on track here. And so it's going to be blitzed off in 2 days. And if they need a deciding set, it's just going to be a 10-point tiebreak. And they're looking for glamour pairings, shorter sets, high stakes, TV primetime slots. The argument against, of course, many doubles specialists have said, well, this is, quote, a profound injustice. Like, you're demeaning what it is to win a Grand Slam in doubles. Like Luke Jensen, who we talked to, won a French Open doubles with his brother. I'm sure he counts that as a big Grand Slam. And so now there's a sense that, well, okay, Carlos Alcaraz and Raducanu come and win a Grand Slam in 2 days, 4-game sets. But this is the way of the world. This is yet another march towards I don't know what. So I don't know. On the one hand, it does seem wrong. But then, to be fair, have I talked about mixed doubles or thought about mixed doubles once in the last 20 years? Not really. So maybe the sport is within its right to try and jazz things up and go for the flirting and the celebrations and the intrigue and our Emma Raducanu and Alcaraz dating, etc. So there we are.
I can't get my head away from the hotel suite that they were in when they blue skied this thing up and they all got around a whiteboard and they wrote down what's popular in today's world, dating shows and TikTok. So what can we do to make something flirty and what can we do to make something shorter? And actually on the side, why don't we do a digital only offering and called Game Set Matchmaker, and we'll do a complete why are the US Open making a love show? Like this is crazy, carry on. But yeah, maybe if you are going to try and innovate, why not try it with this? It is a shame people like Jamie Murray comes to mind for me as well. Like, the career veterans, of this, and that's their bread and butter, and just take away the purity.
Not even their bread and butter. That's their one chance of 4 in a season. It's their Grand Slam,
And it is different. It's not like that's similar to one of the other things that we can now just try something different with that. There's mixed doubles, there's doubles, there's singles. They're all completely their own events. So it's weird that they're sort of treating that like something that could just be tampered with. And I always take exception to the short attention span thing as well, because people still watch sport, like people still watch films, people listen to podcasts, people have attention spans. But what companies like this are going after is everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So then they're looking at the market and looking at everybody on TikTok and it's like, oh, look at the average attention span's only 9 seconds over there. We need to give them 9-second sets. Yeah. But like I say, people who want to watch tennis will still watch tennis, and you can still serve those other people in a different way using the same format that served you so well for a century.
Yeah. Seems like no sport in the world is at peace with itself.
Yeah.
Like, innovation is one thing, but like there seems to be an existential angst around, which is we have to make this more vibrant and appealing. Like,
Like this podcast, we are drowning in 18 to 34-year-olds. Can't get enough of them.
Running quicker, come on.
I would say hurling is actually one of the few where they're actually happy out. It's like, no, we're happy with the
Score every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose the argument for it is, look, I accept what you're saying, Conan, that like the sport is the sport. Part of the appeal of the sport is it takes its time and it's, a war of attrition. I suppose their logic is no one's watching mixed doubles really. This goes on in week 1, fan week they call it, and maybe a whole bunch of people will be inclined now to say, oh, do you know what? Usually I couldn't sit down and watch the usual 4-hour bonanza, but Raducanu and Alcaraz, this will be over in potentially 45 minutes. Yeah, maybe that's an evening's entertainment. So there is a logic there. There's a logic there.
Wonder how hard they're going to play though.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see, will it be all high fives and laughter, or will it be well, this is a Grand Slam, let's be competitive? You think it should veer into the latter?
I think it's the Grand Slam element of it to me, because like, say, remember the Olympics football, and you getting together these mixture of teams, and you can only have a certain amount of players over the age of 23 or whatever. There's always something interesting about that when you're putting together. Even I used to love the Inter Pros, Ulster v Leinster and stuff like that.
And there's a fantasy element to this.
Yeah, where that's a separate game and you're trying it out there. But this is the Grand Slam, which does feel a little bit weird. It feels like the wagons are circled in the wrong place.
It's the way a lot of sports are going. It's very tough on those specialists and those mid-rankers where this is their bread and butter. But in a lot of sports, golf, for instance, those individual sports, it's just more and more everything is veered towards the big names. And that's kind of where it's at. Speaking of, there was an email in from Stephen. Long time, first time, big fan of the pod, listening to bits and bobs in the car. On the way to a golf course on a Saturday morning is now one of life's great pleasures, he says. Wow. He's a 6-week-old newborn. Watching Scottie Scheffler predictably reel in Bob Mack. This was Sunday just gone by. Scottie Scheffler won for the 5th time this year. Reeled in Bob McIntyre. One bite at a time. It got me thinking, what was John Ram thinking moving to a 54-hole format league? I see he won the Live Order of Merit despite not having won any tournaments. How many tournaments would he have won if he was given another 18 holes to catch up with someone? Because I think he top 10'd every tournament this year, so surely a few. Can I suggest, by the way, a golf-themed Vicar Street Live around Masters time next April, please? Kind regards, Stephen. I don't know, would we fill Vicar Street with golf?
Who'd be your dream guest?
I suppose Tiger.
Get the phone book out.
Have a shot at that. The Tour Championship is on this week, by the way, so I don't know. On the whole Order of Merit thing, this has just been a perennial problem in golf. They have the 4 majors, and then they're just trying to just create something that really pops. And so the FedEx Cup has been the way to do that. And that really has boiled down to give away tons of money, and that will hopefully kind of elevate it to a certain
that's what the casual fans care about.
Yeah, just to give
millions
it
upon millions.
An import. Yeah, and you sat there as you watch like guys winning 15 million in one day, and it doesn't make you feel good watching. It doesn't. You don't sit there and go, God, that was great. So Scheffler and McIlroy are 1st and 2nd at the moment. The big change this week is that they've been using staggered starting strokes since 2019, i.e. Scheffler, who's 1st in the list, would start on 10 under, McIlroy 2nd would start on 8 under, and they'd go from there. What they've kind of done here is just they've said all 30 players start on even par, and whoever wins this week wins the FedEx. So it goes against the grain, really, of a Order of Merit. Like, that's why McIlroy skipped an event a couple of weeks back, because what difference does it make if we're all starting on the same score and same points? So whoever wins this will win the $10 million. So we'll see how it all goes. It just shows they can't get a Order of Merit thing to really pop in golf, no matter what they try. And so you could have Scheffler and McIlroy who've led all year, and then, I don't know, Victor Hovland wins and he's your Order of Merit champion. Yeah. There's no authenticity to that. There's no standing to that. Everyone's just saying, no, he won one tournament at the end and then he got the Order of Merit. So it devalues an Order of Merit. It's another sport, just not sure what it's doing. How do we make this work? And they're kind of losing sight of like a core kind of basic, which is if this is an Order of Merit, it has to reflect the season.
It's like next score is the winner. You've been playing for 40 minutes. And
that's the best example. You've nailed it.
Someone shouts that out. I was like, what have we been doing here for 40 minutes?
I've been waffling here for 3 minutes. They've just gone for next score is the winner at the end of the golf
season.
Yeah. I know. It's sports. Just they're scrambling. They're in a room and they're like, okay, Conan, fix it. You went next scores the winner. And so you can see, I thought, oh yeah, well that gives a great jeopardy, because the last couple of years, Scottie Scheffler certainly led. Maybe it was last year. He was like number one, was on 10 under. You don't want to give Scottie Scheffler a lead going into a tournament, and so he just raced off into the distance. It was awful. So they've reacted to that now, and okay, make it even. But now it's next scores the winner. So there's no great solution. By the by, Liv on mention of John Ram. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely must cross his mind he would have won a lot of those events if it was a 4-day format instead of a 3-day format. But interestingly, Liv introduced relegation for the first time this year, and the big name relegated out of Liv kicked off the tour as Henrik Stenson. And I just had a real moment of, geez, Henrik. He was the Ryder Cup captain in situ, and he left European golf at large to go and play on Liv. And Luke Donald stepped into the breach, won in spectacular fashion. So good they've given him a second go now. So, I mean, he's probably made a whole ton of... It's worth a lot of money to be a Ryder Cup captain, even just in the corporate sector. A whole ton of cash. Henrik made the jump. Ryder Cup captain gone. Ryder Cup legend and all that goes with that gone. And now you've been relegated off Liv, and you're kind of just like, shit, what have I done the last 2 years?
What does that mean, relegated? Like
he's off the tour. He's lost his kind of the equivalent of the card. If he wants to get back on, he has to go through kind of a Liv Q school.
So is there a secondary?
They've just started a Liv Q school thing. I mean, they're figuring it out as they go. But in effect,
that's grim.
He's gone.
That's
he's off. He's no longer a Liv player, and it's you're on the scrap heap. And Luke Donald's off to Bethpage in a couple of weeks. It's a major... Love to go back to that moment and show him how it all works out, you know. Oh. So there you go. Lads, on the whole, you weren't so sure about halftime interviews in the Premier League. Well, sorry, Glenn Whelan in particular wasn't. If you missed yesterday's pod, he tweeted about this. The gist was, for sake.
Yeah, he was sure. He wasn't not sure.
He had a real the game's gone moment. Yeah. So long time, second time, says Paddy, just on the halftime interviews in the Premier League, can I remind you that one of the great GAA quotes came from a halftime interview. 1995, Ger Loughnane, interviewed by fellow Clareman Marty Morrissey. At the end of the interview, he was asked, well, look, we have the clip, Paddy. Let's give it a roll.
What did you say to your team at half-time?
Well, we haven't played as well as we could in the first half. However, we've been against the wind. So now the game is going to be won now in the next 35 minutes. And I've just asked him to give him that last ounce for Clare for these 35 minutes.
You think you're going to do it?
We're going to do it.
And that beats Martin Odegaard's effort on Sunday, I'm sure. I suppose if it gives you those kind of moments. I mean, I think the key adjective in this halftime interview is Ger Loughnane's halftime interview.
Who was that for? That we're going to do it. Like, the players aren't going to hear that.
I know. I just think he was...
People in the stadium didn't hear that.
He was in a certain zone. Yeah. I think it was for himself. It was for... do you believe in, like... I don't know, the forces.
Like manifesting.
They're out there. Like the way you got Tony Adams onto Jordan's radar.
By the way, as I mentioned earlier, sitting beside Joe at the desk, and yesterday you were like, look, and they were still talking about it. Martin Keown was back in yesterday, and they put it to him.
Still playing it to him. I think it was that I'm just manifesting it.
Yeah.
Just I can't have a shred of doubt in my mind we're going to do it.
And I think, whether you believe in manifestation or not, I mean, what would that have done to his body language there? Saying that to the camera and bouncing down to the changing room.
I totally agree.
Have to go in and back this up now.
Yeah, well, just that's the zone he's in. Like, he's in that frame of mind. Now we're going to do it, and he just marches into the changing room and says the same thing.
No, this was on the way back out.
Yeah, well, wow.
He said, I've talked to the players. Yeah. So this is like referee's about to throw the ball in again, and he's just spoken to the players. Yeah.
There's an assuredness in that.
Posture on the sideline there as well, just...
Yeah. Well, I do think you probably... I mean, I'm not to back this up, but there is kind of like, we have this kind of inner story or dialogue going on, and the more you kind of tell yourself something, you do start to believe it, even subconsciously. I just think he was like, I am not letting in an ounce of doubt, you know, and I'm going on the record here. That's how I'm going to look foolish if we lose, but we're just not going to lose. I think that's my sense of where he was in the who was it for.
Yeah.
And for everyone at home to go, yes, come on!
Yeah.
Oh, man, 30 years ago. This is killing our 18 to 34-year-olds. That's like us. Imagine in 1995's equivalent podcast, they're like, do you remember in 1965? That's 30 years from then is the 60s. The Down manager said at halftime they were going to do it.
Yeah, I was chatting to Sean in the office yesterday. He's a big cricket fan, and just like 20 years since the '05 Ashes.
Yeah.
Sure, like he was a child then, he would have been like 4 when that happened, So he knows about it in the same way I know about
Yeah.
Gordon Banks' save from
Yeah. No,
LA.
it's true.
Listen,
don't worry, Sean. It'll catch everyone eventually. So yeah, halftime interviews. We'll see how they go. Giagweave, lads. I'm still reeling. I should have read this earlier. Apologies. I'm still reeling from my trip to Croke Park to see Oasis. Flew home, especially from Canada. Turned it into a family visit, to be fair. Don't judge. First time at Croker since the '04 All-Ireland football final, in brackets. Sad times. Obviously a Mayo fan. First time seeing Oasis since the mid-90s at Porky Queeve. A prouder night for Mayo folk. Impossible to sum up my experience last weekend. One of the best nights of my life. But one ancillary detail which surprised me. This guy's over in Canada. It seemed like every second person was wearing the Bohemians jersey. It must be the marketing coup of the age. I was chatting to some non-locals who had also travelled to Dublin for the gig. They were wearing them as well. Maybe the omnipresence of the shirt has been covered lots already, so apologies if that's the case. I was just stunned. We should follow suit, no? Mayo Oasis? Lots of love, Darren. Viva Andy Moran.
Oasis McHale Park.
Yeah.
That would be something.
As well as just like the branding and how kind of, he's just tapped into a mood in the country now, people prouder and prouder of their Irishness, and I don't know, I don't even know how to describe what they've kind of captured, but they have captured something. But talking to people in the know, I think some of the other jerseys, like I think last year, maybe the revenue at Bose is around 4 million, and commercial activity, the jerseys in effect, was half of that, like 2 million, which is an obscene percentage. And I mean, the predictions for this Oasis Bonanza, 4 or 5 million, they're going to outstrip their total revenue.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is wild. And it's very hard now. I think if you're Pats and you're in the room and someone's like, look, they're playing sexy mixed doubles tennis over here, Bose are in the jersey, what do we do?
Yeah.
I don't think you can just slap blur on your jersey.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's very hard to just start doing, we'll put bands on our jersey. I think you look like, well, you are complete copycat,
Stephen Kenny said the Stone Roses were a bigger influence
Sure,
on
he
his
did.
life.
He did.
Get that on the Pats jersey.
He did. But it's very, it's such a, they're your Bose light over there.
Yeah, they've taken the market a little bit.
Haven't they?
Because they obviously had the Fontaines on the front of their, as in the Fontaine sponsorship, Fontaines DC, on their jersey. But there's just absolute clear connection there. Whereas the Bob Marley one was more of a reach. This total reach. The Mayo point is obviously, I think, in jest, but Mayo have as much right as anybody to phone up Oasis and be like, gee, what do you think of training gear, Oasis? They probably would have been like, oh yeah, that's where Peggy's from.
Nobody thinking.
Nobody would think that way.
No, genius. It's genius what they've managed to do. Paul was saying rightly or wrongly that a Barcelona. So I'm conscious Paul's listening. I said rightly or wrongly, I doubt you.
Go on, what a Paul said.
Paul, I'm sorry. I think Barcelona were in their internal presentations holding up Bose as a leading example of how we market in the 21st century. So it's amazing, and the jerseys are everywhere.
And obviously 1 and 2, not quite the case, but they were everywhere. And I definitely did see videos from Murrayfield, Cardiff, with the Bose jersey. They're on par with the Oasis merchandise, which is obviously they have a link with Adidas. The Oasis merch is as good as you're ever going to see. And Oasis is still or Bose are still hanging in there.
Yeah, the Oasis merchandise is.
This is it. They wore Adidas in their early days because that's what they wore. That's what they owned. And Adidas, I wouldn't even say cynically, honestly. It works for both of them. But now they're the band with 3 stripes, and that's been the thrust of the marketing and the Adidas range, which was again everywhere at the weekend. So, talk about marketing coups like this Oasis. They've thought of everything. It's been a full frontal approach on all aspects of this. Considering they've done relatively few gigs, it's really just the UK and Ireland. Now they're going to broaden it out to North America and South America. But it's not as if it's not a Taylor Swift style, 3 figures of dates. They're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, because I just state the obvious. They could have done 5 nights at Croke Park pretty
Oh,
comfortably.
when the Croke Park tickets were sold out before all the UK ones had even gone on sale, like as in they were inaccessible, and everybody assumed they'll just add more dates, but they didn't. Like 2 days in Ireland, that's it.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. We are included in someone's thesis acknowledgements. Did you see this?
This is a great email, yeah.
Aye.
To John Cohobble as well. I'll cut to the chase. Given that Bits and Bobs is rapidly descending into a Susie Dent-esque countdown. Grammar word-based podcast. I thought you'd like to know about another literature-based achievement of the podcast in recent times. For the last year, I've been undertaking a master's degree looking at, and he puts in brackets, dumbed-down version of the research question here, how I, as a teacher, can ask better questions during class. Quite an interesting topic. Anyway, no one really cares about that, he says. But what might be important is that I think the written thesis being submitted this week may be the first to acknowledge the contribution of the Indosport podcast to it. You can find the passage below with your mention in red. I hope you don't mind. Best wishes, Charlie. So he based it in the acknowledgements to my supervisor, yada, 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 to the board of management, principal of my school, my family, my partner, boring, to Joe and Co on the Indosport podcast.
Here we go. Yada, yada, yada.
It's a bit of a drive-by on us, though. It's a bit of a drive-by. He says, I love that we're included on his thesis. To the Indosport podcast. Thank you for providing me with a somewhat distracting backing track. Not essential listening, not I couldn't take my ears off it. A somewhat distracting. We're basically like white noise.
White noise, yeah.
During my writing process, as well as for helping me to upskill my writing through the regularity of contributors' grammatical correction emails you read out. Charlie, good man. Thank you. First time we've been thanked in
Thesis.
the acknowledgements of a thesis.
Somewhat distracting. Unable to.
How do you feel about that?
That's going on that's a blurb for our 1 year anniversary.
The whole thing.
Somewhat distracting.
I thought we were going to be used as an example of how to ask good questions or something like that.
No.
It's just
No. Yes.
background
No. Thank you. Yeah. Just before we wrap up, Michael Verney wrote a piece which was interesting on GAA football management in particular. He talks about the drained dozen. There has been, once again in football, a mass exodus of managers at the end of the championship season. There is a 36% exit rate, raising questions once again about the sustainability of any job. Now, 2 of the 12, Ger Brennan, Dermot McCabe, have filled voids in their native county. So that's less of a, I'm burnt out, I can't do it anymore. But he says, Michael Verney, this is the 4th year in a row that football vacancies have hit double figures, and that's worrying, he writes. So it's just the way it is now, isn't it? Like, even with a lot of, particularly the weaker counties, I find at the start of a season, there's 11 new players in the squad this year. Like, the turnover is just massive. To take your Oasis point here, for a short time and a good time, I think most managers are going in with their eyes wide open now that this will be 2-3 years and family goes in the back seat, work goes in the back seat, and that's it. Like, the days of doing this for 10 years with a job, gone. It's no surprise is my point. I kind of read this and thought, I actually thought, oh, only 12?
Yeah.
I would have guessed even more would just turn over in the summer and the winter.
It's probably not even, there's not a ready solution. It's not as if they can come from on high and tweak something,
No.
without like absolutely marked change, and doesn't seem to be any sign of that coming.
And you could argue the split season is marked change in that if you're an inter-county manager, conceivably, you can take 6 months off now. You can say to your family, listen, this is really, really bad from February through to, in a lot of cases, who won't reach All-Ireland finals. This is really bad until mid-June.
Yeah. Trust me, we'll be out in June.
I'll make sure of it. And then there, we pretty relaxed, but even still, it's too much.
Even from a backroom team point of view, like assembling teams, because the commitment wouldn't be that much lesser. I know there's a totem or a front man in these management teams.
Scrutiny.
Yeah, they have to take the brunt of that, but you are asking people to row in behind you, and that's not always easy. I know circumstances were different in these cases, but even Jack O'Connor was talking about trying to scramble together a backroom team at late notice when Paddy Talley and Keane O'Neill went elsewhere. It's not as straightforward as you'd think.
Can I sound a little bit twee on this? Like, I think it's such a shame where we've gotten to, with this. And I'm not only sound like Jerry Maguire to say that the answers is less training, less preparation, but there is an element of like the beauty of the GAA is and was always that people just did this. Like this is such a unique culture. It's so like rare, like all over the world. People would marvel at this if you dropped them in and told them about it, and it's so rich throughout the whole country. And the beauty of it is that people just do it because they're not doing anything else, you know. And it's obviously more at club level, and you can step back and you can come and go. And I understand that the county thing is just taking on like whole new levels, and there's something class about that as well. Like, you know, the improvements and everything. But I still think it's a shame that people aren't just doing it as much, or the conversation isn't, this is what you would do, because the time commitment is just so much now. You have to gather so many professionals in behind you. Kevin McStay, when he was in charge of Roscommon, talked about most of his time was spent fundraising and trying to sort out logistics. And that's the reality now for that job. And I'm saying all this. I don't know what the answer is, but I know Jarlath Burns has sort of hinted at, and I actually like where he was coming from. He said, "Look, managers are being paid. Let's lift the hood up and talk about it." So that's great. But he had sort of hinted at like maybe we could formalise something like this as well, because we know managers are being paid. Not all of them.
Yeah, well, that's the mark change I was talking about. Unless that's actually brought through, and like Jarlath Burns floated that, and it's not as if everybody got on board like straight away. So I think, and his is a short presidential reign. The next president in might have a totally opposite viewpoint.
Sorry, that's what I'm touching on, and that's my point. Is like I don't know how comfortable I am with that, like because of that little magic that I'm talking about. And I know that sounds, like I said, twee and basic, but like that is the GA, and there is something beautiful about coaches not being paid, and players obviously aren't being paid as well. Jim Gavin always said, I couldn't stand in front of the Dublin players.
The funny thing about this is, as long as I can remember, every year someone is saying, "Oh my God, you wouldn't compared to 10 years ago, you wouldn't believe what it's like now." Surely at a certain point there are only 7 days in the week, and it can't just get any more committed. Are we getting to the point now where it's maxed out?
Yeah, potentially maxed out. It certainly can't get any less committed is the problem.
True.
You can't reverse course on performance excellence or standards. That's the problem. Like, you can't come in, for example, and stipulate X minute training days. Not that anyone would listen to that anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just
it just is what it is now.
But I take your point there. Like, we are at the marginal gains point of this now. Like, you can't. People have full-time jobs for the most part. Like, there's what you do with those select hours, you can tweak, obviously, but like, these counties are really performing at very high levels now, and I just don't think the scope for growth between the 90s and now was so huge. Like, that's just minimized now.
And you're at a point now where you're dealing with amateurs who have full-time jobs, so the importance of rest is massive. So you could tell them, we're actually going to train on Wednesdays as well, and that's fine, but at a certain point it'll be counterproductive. So I don't know, maybe in 10 years we'll be looking back at this and laughing that we thought we had maxed out, but I just don't see what more they could be doing.
It's because as well, you have to, if you want to have the excellence that Ronan's talking about, you have to hire so many professionals, and that is their careers, so of course they should be paid. So that's where it gets a bit murky then, that the manager's overseeing all this. Strength and conditioning coach needs to be paid, a physiotherapist needs to be paid, and now analysts.
How do you think players would feel though if the manager's getting paid? As a physio, fine. Doctor, fine. Nutritionist, fine. That is their profession. I wonder would some players go, hang on a second.
I remember the first time it happened to me when I was a club player, and as soon as anything went wrong, it was so quick where people were like, he's getting paid to be here. As soon as training wasn't enjoyable, as soon as you were doing the same thing, he's getting paid to be here. Doesn't matter to him. And that's what would worry me then as well in a bigger picture. If we were saying, let's pay these managers because it's unrealistic that they can keep doing their livelihoods as well, then that becomes their career. Then you get journeyman managers because they're just bouncing around. What does that do to your county then? You're just going to work.
We have a bit of that journeyman thing already, but it would become even more.
Yeah, it's like this is your only means of getting paid. Again, people would argue that that's already happened too.
Yeah, then you're back to that Jarlath point of like, well, let's just be honest about this. I don't know.
And it's happened at the club now as well, so like that's the... Yeah, like it's the horse is already bolted. So,
and then you hear things at club level where it's like a case of, let's put on extra sessions because I get my mileage, and the more sessions I do, the more money I get as the coach or the manager. And then you're open to weird manipulation of players and not giving them adequate rest and asking for too much. So it all gets Tricky, yeah. I don't know. As you said, it's a unique situation, the GAA,
Yeah.
and that it's managed to navigate the terrain thus far in a, hodgepodge kind of way is impressive. But maybe a reckoning is coming. Maybe if you got to like 50% of managers going every year, it would force a change. As it is, 12, and 2 of those 12 have moved to new jobs. So I'd say it's kind of as expected. Right, I think I'm officially on holidays.
You're going to start watching the Oasis clips again?
Oh no, I'm too sad. Too sad watching them. I really feel
I'm not going to bring you back there.
Don't worry about it.
Should we? What happens if we buy merchandise now? This merchandise that you're talking about, is that weird? If Joe and I went out and bought it?
Yeah, we've no right to know.
Can we not do that
No,
now?
we can't. We can't. I'm away for the next fortnight or so. I'm after this going to. It'll probably take me 15 minutes to do the whole email. I'm on annual leave out of the office until thing. Every year I'm like, I must remember how to do it next time. So you guys will be ably stepping in over the next fortnight.
Well,
We'll see about that.
Eyes to the ground.
We'll let the listeners be the judge of that.
Welcome along to the best of. Well, enjoy the next fortnight, fellas. I may or may not listen from a beach somewhere sunny. So enjoy.
we're going to miss you.
Anything you got a few things cooked up, I think.
Oh yeah, we've got a few things that we're chopping on the chopping board at the minute, but nothing's been put on the pan yet.
Very good. Alrighty. Emails in indosportpodcast@independent.ie. Colin, thank you.
Thank
Ronnie,
you.
thank you. I'm gonna
Thanks,
miss
Joe.
you. I'm gonna miss you guys a lot.
Likewise.